All right, so cool here with Brian Wheat. How you doing, man?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, man, congratulations on that book, Son of a Milkman. It was awesome.
Thank you, buddy. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So I got to ask you, man, when you wrote the book, did you run it by your bandmates beforehand, or how'd that work?
Uh, I said, "Hey guys, I'm writing a book," and they went, "Cool, great."
Well, I'm just saying, man, there's pretty in there, you know. I mean, when they read it, were they like, "Whoa, can you put this out," or did you already have it published? How'd that work?
Uh, when I wrote it, then I sent it to a publisher, and they wanted to put it out.
Well, what I'm saying is, did you let the band read it after it was written or after it was published?
No, they didn't want. They didn't. They didn't want to. They didn't ask to. Jeff Keith told me, "Write whatever you want. It's all true." Um, Frank still hasn't read it. I talked to him yesterday. He don't care. They know. Look, I didn't say anything bad about anyone. That I didn't say the same shit about myself.
Right, right.
I mean, I talk about how we did drugs. Well, everyone knows we did drugs in that band, and I talk about how we got crazy sometimes, and everyone knows that's the truth. But the main thing is, we're still together.
Now, one thing I noticed in the first chapter, you mentioned Jeff and Frank are like brothers to you, but you left Frank out.
Frank, I didn't leave Frank out.
I'm sorry, you Jeff and Frank, you left Troy out.
No, I didn't.
In the first chapter, you said Jeff and Frank are like brothers to you, and you didn't mention Troy in the first chapter right there. But that's what I'm trying to say. When you're talking in the very first chapter, you're talking about your family and your brothers and everything like that. You're laying it all down. Then you said that Jeff and Frank are more like brothers to you than anybody, but you didn't mention Troy there. You don't mention Troy until the next chapter, and then you mentioned the tribulations you had between the two of you.
Yeah, look, me and Troy we butted heads more than me and Frank and me and Jeff. But I also say in there, look, we butted heads and we, said shit to each other over the years, but we're brothers. I mean, we have a great understanding of each other, and we're closer today than we've ever been. I mean, I'd have to say today he's my brother. Of course, he's my brother. I've been playing with him for 35 years, but sometimes brothers get on each other's nerves, and that happens.
See, what I was
So it wasn't an intentional slight at Troy, if that's what you were getting at.
so you know what I was getting at is like, I mean, I've seen that you guys did a lot of work, even.
I mean, I didn't mention Tommy Skeoch either.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Well, he certainly wasn't my fucking brother.
You see what I'm getting at is like, were you saying that kind of stuff to like, because you had some resentment still, or maybe it was just
Well, probably. And when I started that book, I started it 8 years ago.
oh, okay,
So we were probably at that point. Me and Troy probably just gotten in a big fight.
right, right.
So when I wrote that chapter, I just left it that way. And had I known that you'd be asking me this, I probably would have changed it back then. But I left it because it was real. It was how it was at the time. Because if you read the book, it goes through this timeline, and I say, look, Jeff was crazy for a bit of time. Skeoch, we all know that story, and I really don't want to talk about him that much because that book's been written. I mean, fuck, it's been 15 years. The main thing is that the four of us have survived 35 years of ups and downs, breakups, drugs, you know, all kinds of crazy shit. And we love each other. We're brothers, and we're still together, and we're still making good music and enjoying doing it.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, the book was fantastic. The way you laid everything out. I mean, the ups and downs.
But you got to, like I said, you got to realize it was started 8 years ago, and it's probably you're probably right. I probably, uh, you know, when I wrote that chapter, I'd probably got into an argument with Troy about something or another and left him out just because but that's the kind of relationship we have. But it's funny thing about all those guys, right? Each one of us. We'll cuss each other out and have arguments and shit, but we'll never let anyone else fuck with one of us.
Right.
So I mean, me and Troy might call each other fuckhead and bastard, but we wouldn't let someone else say something bad about him or me, if that makes sense to you.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
now, I mean, in the book, you even talk about later in the chapters that it even got more than verbal arguments. You actually guys got into blows at some points.
Yeah, and that Jeff and Troy, they had a few boxing rounds, well, yeah, I mean, but that's what brothers do, man. It's a family. I mean, you got any brothers?
No, I got a sister, but I know.
Yeah, she ever beat you up?
She sucker punched me a time or two, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, you probably had it coming.
Yeah, right. Growing up, for sure.
Yeah.
So, in the second chapter, man, you tell a story about Ronnie Montrose and how you guys hooked up, and then you mentioned how Ronnie later said that you owed him a flat screen TV. Out of all the things, man, why do you think you picked a TV?
Because he probably wanted a nice flat screen TV. Because he brought little Susie to us. He said it as a joke, and I took him one, eventually, and he loved it. He had it until the day he died.
Now, in the book, man, you guys talk a lot about your partying days. Do you think any band today can go toe to toe with you guys back in the day?
Oh, there were bands that would have kicked our ass partying. I mean, I don't allude to that we were like these heavy hardcore drug addicts. It wasn't talked about that much ever. And really, I brought it up because it was a strong contributor to us breaking up. And it was kind of in there for, maybe other bands that were reading the book, like saying, hey, look, if you're going through this, recognize that you don't have to break up over it, or, allow it to be the demise of your band. But I mean, look, man, I mean, we did drugs. We were choir boys. I wouldn't say we were the hardest partying band out there. No way on the planet.
Now, in the book, you mentioned that Coke was put on the tab when you were recording an album. Did that cause arguments because you weren't doing Coke at the time and you had to pay for it?
No, because I was, drunk or, into something else at the time.
Now, you say that you were a downers guy, man. What were you into? What was your drug of choice? Were you into ludes or benzos or?
Probably benzos, ludes. I liked ludes, yeah. But, I mean, that's just what I dabbled in. Everyone had their thing that they liked, at a certain point in time. It wasn't really about the drugs. The point really was that people have this image that we were like this squeaky clean band, and we weren't. But I'm not glorifying the drug use. We did do drugs.
Now, later in the book, man, you talk about your nickname Slugger, and that was a pretty great chapter. But
my nickname, what?
You Slugger?
What?
You had a nickname, Slugger?
Oh, Slugger.
Yeah.
Oh man, you really like all the dirt in the book.
That was, well, I mean, there's different stuff. I'm just going through different chapters what I picked out. But yeah, man.
No, it's funny. Yeah, what about Slugger?
You mentioned that was that was the name of the whole chapter, and you mentioned that was your name, but you never really talk about how you got.
No, it wasn't my nickname. I had this girlfriend that liked her thing was she liked to get high, and then she liked you to smack her around, while you were having sex. And that's how I got the name Slugger, because I came down from, a wild sex session upstairs. And, I think, she had little blood coming out of her nose or something, but I'm not a kind of guy that beats up women or anything like that. This was at the height of my cocaine fueled crazy 2-year fucking, thing. But yeah. So that's why they call my friend Vinny called me Slugger. He's like, "Hey, Slugger, what's up?"
See, I would never got that out of reading what I wanted. I thought it had, a drug reference.
He thought it was because I like to play baseball or something, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Home run hitters.
Yeah, no, you ever have any freaky chicks that want you to tie them up and all that kind of shit?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, this chick, she liked to get high and blow, and gave me some blow, and that's what she was into.
Little
and that was the only time or only person that was ever like that. But when I started to spew, to when we started writing the book with the interviewer, I just went on that story that day, which I thought was a pretty funny story, in the sense that the weird shit cocaine can lead you to. So yeah. I've retired Slugger, though. He's okay, and I don't advocate for beating up women. So, I don't want people saying, "Oh, he's a wife beater," or nothing. I've never hit my wife or any of my girlfriends. This was more of a sexual fetish, like bondage shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I know you got a rubber suit over there, dude.
I got 2 of them. I got the ball.
I bet you do.
Bring out the gimp. Now, one thing I want to talk to you about is the phone call from Slash, man. I mean, what was that like when he gave you the call and basically said, "Hey"?
Well, he was my buddy. Slash. I love Slash. I was a big fan of Guns N' Roses. Still am. We were making Psychotic Supper. We were in the middle of making Psychotic Supper. And he called me up and he said, "Hey, can you stop so we can have Michael and Steve mix our album?" And I'm like, "Well, Slash, I'd love to help you, but, we're in the middle of making this record. These guys are committed to doing this record. I can't just stop, it'd be like, if I called you and told you to stop Guns N' Roses, so, whoever you were working with could come and do something for Tesla, you'd say, fucking, come on, Brian, give me a break." So it was that kind of call, but he was cool about it. I mean, look, me and Slash, we always were pretty friendly. I was closer to Axl. Actually, if they would have had Axl call me, they might have had a better chance.
Really? You would have put up pause on them to let them?
I would have maybe, who knows? That Axl, I had a soft spot for Axl.
Now, you mentioned in the book sometimes that you felt that the label was taking more approach with Guns N' Roses than you guys. I mean, when the phone call came,
well, that was a fact. But it's what the point was trying to make was that, Tesla were a very big band, but there were big bands at Geffen. They had Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses, and Whitesnake. So we were always kind of in the 4th spot, on priority, and sometimes it could be tough because, you'd be going up against one spot at a radio station playlist, and the people you're going up against were the 4 people or the 3 other people on your label that were making your label more money, so they would get the priority.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's the point.
See, that's what I was saying when it led up. You mentioned that, and then you talked about the phone call. So I was just wondering if it was just like, whoa, you guys got to.
I'm sure at the time that was in the back of my mind as well, and but really it was, we were in the middle of making this record, and we couldn't stop, and I, they probably had Slash call me because they knew we were friendly, and like I said, if we weren't doing anything, I would have said, sure, go ahead. But we were smack dab in the middle of making the record. And Guns N' Roses, that meant we would have had to sit, could have been 3 months. And that could have been, at that time in our career, that could have been, a disaster for us to just sit and not do anything.
Oh, 100%, man.
So, unfortunately, no. But hey, look, Axl and Slash did great with Use Your Illusions. They sold 10 times the records we sold on Psychotic Supper. So they were fine.
Now, later in the book, man, you casually mentioned that Lars was at your wedding. How'd you guys become friends?
Me and Lars?
Yeah.
Well, we were both managed by the same company, so I used to see him a lot. And he, they lived in San Francisco, we lived in Sacramento, so we spent a bit of time around each other. I was pretty good buddies with Lars. I haven't talked to him in ages, but he dated a girl that worked for our management company, right? So we were all friendly. So Lars came to the wedding with this girl.
Oh, that's cool, man. I just dug how.
Yeah, no, Lars is cool. He come and see us. Lars was there the night we made 5-Man Acoustic Jam in Philadelphia as well. Now, he was at that gig.
Now with the 5-Man Acoustic Jam, you think that's what inspired MTV to make Unplugged?
No, that was their first. No, we're the first ones to do an all live album, but all acoustic live album. But MTV had already launched MTV Unplugged. Not too much earlier, but I had already seen an episode or one or two. I think a Great White actually played acoustic on Unplugged before we did the 5-Man Acoustic Jam album. I remember seeing Great White play acoustically.
Now, with as many times as Signs have been played, man, you guys make money off of that, even though it's a cover?
No, the writer of the song makes the money.
See, that's what I figured. I always wondered that stuff.
Yeah, but it's a great song. I mean, I make money every time I play it in concert, and everyone goes crazy. Now, later, are you one of those guys that hates that song and wonders why we play it every night?
Me, no, I love the track, man. I was just curious about how that works.
Oh well, yeah, because some people say, why do you play Signs every night? Because it was the biggest hit we ever had. Same reason we play Love Song every night. Don't be stupid. So I thought maybe you were one of those guys that were like, why do you play Signs?
No, man.
Do you play?
When I go to a show, man, I'm the guy that wants to hear all the hits. I hate when.
Oh, I love you, man. You're my best friend.
Yeah, for sure.
That's me too. Me and Frank, we always have discussions on the set list, and he'll want to put more tracks that are like, the B tracks, right? And I want to play all the hits. So we always go back and forth about that.
Well, I mean, there's been times I've gone to see Neil Young or Pearl Jam, and I don't even recognize one song all the way through the set, and then finally they play a hit, and it's just like, Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah, that would drive me fucking nuts, man. I seen the Black Crowes do that one night, and I was a huge Black Crowes fan till that night.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah, I want to hear the hits.
It really prevents you from wanting to go see that band again live if you ain't gonna hear.
Well, I think it can be self-indulgent. you know, and I don't, you know, I like playing the hits. I'm like you, buddy.
Well, I'm glad, man. I mean, that's, you know, it's got to be the best reaction too. You know, when you with the fans, you got everyone cheering.
Yeah. You know, you play something they don't know or don't like, they get up and go get a beer.
What is that like if you're doing a live show and all of a sudden you decide to throw something, a B-side or something on there, and the fans just,
and it don't go down very well?
Yeah.
It usually comes out of the set.
Because it's got to be a real big distraction, man, especially you know, when shit's popping off and you switch things.
Yeah.
So when touring starts back up, man, you think it's going to be different? How do you think it's going to be?
I don't know how it's gonna be, man. I mean, you know, first let's get it started back up, but I don't know how it's gonna be different. I imagine everyone's gonna be wearing a fucking mask, right?
Mask and spaced out, and I don't know.
You know, I don't know, man. Who knows? You know, you got this vaccine now, so you know, hopefully that'll, you know, that's gotta help.
Are you going to get the vaccine?
Don't know. You?
Nah, not yet, man. I got to wait to see what happens with the few people that get it. I ain't no guinea pig.
Well, I think that's kind of what's happening with a lot of people. They're just waiting and seeing. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get the vaccine or not. I'll cross that. I mean, I'm probably going to have to.
It might be
only in the sense that I think, you know, the government or whatever, because the government, you know, now is really trying to run your fucking life, are going to make you do it, or they're not going to let you go back to work.
It might be something to do with insurance too. When you're touring, they might have to say you guys have to get this done if you guys.
Yeah. So I imagine I'm going to have to, but you know, I'm put it off. You know, I don't know if it's good or bad, this vaccine. You know, I mean, it's like anything, you know. Even, you know, when they had polio and they had a vaccine for polio, it took a while for them to everyone for it to figure it out how to do it. So, you know, it's in the early stages, but you know, thank God President Trump was able to get that thing put together in 9 months, because it could have took 10 years, man.
For sure, definitely.
You know, and a lot of people want to bag on President Trump, but the one thing that people can't, you know, take away from the fucking guy, whether you love him or hate him, is, you know, he got a vaccine in 9 months. That's pretty fucking remarkable.
Definitely. I mean, look at all the stuff out there that still doesn't have vaccines or anything like that, you know?
So, you know, hats off to the man, you know, give the guy a little bit of credit.
So when people get back to shows, man, you think they're going to be more in the moment and enjoy the show? I mean, the last time.
I think people are going to go fucking crazy.
I mean, last time I went to a show, everyone's sitting there holding a phone up and recording it, not being in the moment. You think people are going to take a step back?
No, people are going to be in the moment. But hey, look, this phone thing, that's just the new way of life, man. You know, that ain't going to stop. You know, people like to put up their phone and go, look where I'm at. You know, here I am, and show all their friends. And that's okay. It don't bug me, man. You know, it's like, hey, they're still getting into it. You know what I mean? They're happy to be there. They're singing the songs. They're just holding up the phone, you know. Hey, whatever, you know.
Well, at least the quality is getting better on these phones, man. I mean, I've seen some of these videos. It's like, what the fuck did you waste your time for?
Yeah, hey, I wish when I was a kid, you know, they had these phones like when UFO was playing and shit, so I could have seen all those early UFO shows, you know.
Now getting back to the book, man, I'm just looking through some notes I have, different chapters and stuff. I wrote up.
What was your favorite part of the book, dude?
Favorite part of the book? I actually like the chapter when you guys, you know, everything towards the end of Slugger is when you guys started talking about how the band broke up, and then you guys finally realized you guys got to be back together. Everyone went their separate ways. You had your time off, and then you realized, you know, let's do something. You guys got the call to be on that radio show, and then you started to back up. It was like, you know, the rebuilding.
That was a great point. That's my you know, I'm really proud of I'm more proud of the second half of our career than the first half. Only in the sense, not of the records or the work we did, but that when we did get back together, we've managed to keep it together for 20 years and basically on our own without the help of a big management firm or big record company, you know. And to me, I think that says a lot about the character of the band.
Well, you know, I mean, it was a redemption story. You know what I mean? I mean, it talked about how you guys could have just been done forever. And then you finally got your shit together. And you guys, you know, basically, it's the same.
Well, there was an opportunity that presented itself. And we took advantage of it. And we realized once we did that we were meant to play together.
I mean, you're one of the few bands out there that you are basically the same lineup from start to finish. I mean,
yeah, with the exception of Tommy Skeoch, yeah.
Now, in the book, man, you mentioned that Tommy blames you for getting fired, and you said you were the messenger. Does that mean that you were literally the messenger? Like, you're the one who told him, like, hey, man, this is it, you're done?
Well, yeah, I was the one that would always be with anyone. I'm the one, like, if there's an elephant in the room, I'm going to say, hey, there's a fucking elephant in the corner, guys. Did you see that? So he blames, you know, he has a lot of animosity towards me for whatever reason, you know, maybe because, you know, I'm the one that just says, hey, man, this is fucked up. But, you know, he knew what was going on. And, you know, the band had several discussions and meetings with him. And he was, you know, meant to be keeping it together. And he didn't. And, you know, the band voted unanimously. It wasn't like it was 3-1. It was all four of us agreed it was time again for him to go. I think, you know, look, I don't think really in his heart of hearts Tommy liked anybody in the band except for Jeff Keith. You know?
Right.
Like, actually liked him. Like you said, like I say, like Frank and Jeff are my brothers. He just, you know, he wasn't a really friendly guy. He wouldn't call you up and go, hey, man, you want to go to dinner tonight? Or you want to go hang out and see a movie? He was just, you know, he played in the band with us, but he wasn't really a friend. I think he was a friend to Jeff Keith. I thought he was my friend, which is, you know, why it kind of bums me out. You know, he, because from the time we got back together in 2000 until he left in 2006, he stayed with me and Monique every time he came to Sacramento to work with the band. You know, he would stay, you know, at my house. And I thought me and him were pretty good buddies. But, you know, obviously when things got bad again, he kind of reverted back to blaming me. And, you know, I had no ill feelings towards the guy, man. There were times I really enjoyed his company, you know, to be honest with you. He said a lot of hurtful things about me, which, you know, pissed me off. So I'm the kind of guy, if you fucking piss in my bowl of cereal, you know, twice, 3 times, that's it. I'm done with you. So, you know, look, I wish him no ill will. I hear he's got a new band out, and I heard his song and it sounded really good. I was really happy to hear him doing that kind of music, which he's really capable of and he's very good at, instead of like some of this weird punk rock shit he was doing on his own, you know, because obviously I know what he's doing. We all follow each other. You know, we're always interested in what each other's doing. But, you know, we just fell out. And
You know, it's funny because the other day Eddie Trunk asked me, do you ever think you'll be friends with him again? Or would you ever like to make up with him or sit down and clear the air? And just off the cuff, me being the way I am, I said no. But in actuality, probably, yeah, I wouldn't mind sitting down with him again and going, you know, and that don't mean he's going to come back to the band or, you know, we're going to, you know, become friends or whatever. Just karmically, I think we do have this common thing that we did. And there were times that we had some fun together, you know, and just for myself as healing, you know, spiritually, I would like, you know, maybe one day to say, hey, look, Tommy, you know, look, I didn't do this to you. You did this. Don't blame me. You know, man, you know, use your talent. You're a talented guy. Because I also say in the book that when he wasn't fucked up, and he didn't start getting fucked up till after Psychotic Supper.
Right.
You know, he was fine. I mean, he was like a workman, man. That guy, you know, he wanted to work and do the best he could all the time. You know, personality, you know, there were maybe some personality conflicts, you know, but I'm sure that was it with it all. So, you know, it's funny, me and him, because, you know, I felt kind of bad after I said that on Eddie Trunk. I was like, well, you know what? Because maybe he does. Maybe he'd like to bury the hatchet and just shake hands, you know. And if we ever are lucky enough to get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or whatever, you know, I want him up there with us and you know, sharing, you know, him and Dave both, and sharing in that celebration, because that body of work everyone should be proud of. So, you know, I've changed from day to day. So there is still a little bit of me that, you know, has some brotherhood with him, whatever it is, even though he's a brother I'd probably, you know, like to punch most at certain points in time in my life. You know, when I do look back and I just think about the good times with him, I have a kind of sentimental spot for him.
Now, does it bother you that whenever he wants to promote something, he's got to bring up Tesla or bag on one of you guys?
Yeah, that's what bothers me.
I mean, it's got to be, you know.
Yeah, I was reading one of his interviews the other day, and he said, you know, I was the edge of that band. Like, he was the only one that knew how to rock, which is bullshit. I mean, he did rock, but, you know, fucking Edison's Medicine was pretty rock and roll, and he didn't write that fucking song. I did, me and Frank. And, you know, they're okay now if you like, you know, kind of lounge, soft pop rock. And I thought, you know, well, he's just being a cunt.
Right.
You know, he's just, you know, it's like, you don't need to say that, Tommy. You know, that's not true. And we're not a lounge act, you know, and that pissed me off. So just about the time I start to feel a little softness for the guy, he'll say something like that. And then I'll say something about him, you know. So that's kind of the relationship we have. But having said all that, there were times me and him had a good time together.
Well, hopefully one day you guys can, you know, get the closure that you get, you know, that you need to put that.
Well, yeah, I'd like that one day. I don't think I just want to leave it on, you know. No, but I can be a hard ass, man.
I don't blame you, dude. I mean, people say shit like that. It's definitely gonna get to you, especially when you're saying he lived at your house.
And then, you know, he wrote this fucking song when he left the band. He put out this record, and he called me an elephant and said I couldn't play the bass. You know, and that pissed me off as well. You know, there's certain things you said at certain times that, you know, that pissed me off.
Now, throughout the book, man, you mentioned your relationship with Def Leopard and the friendship that you guys and all the stuff that they've done to help you in your career. Do you think you guys would have had the level of success that you have if you've never met Def Leopard?
No. I think Def Leppard, you know, especially after the first album, they really encouraged us to go out and write the second album, which was great radio controversy. They were always role models for us. So I know I think we've always kind of used them as a measuring stick.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about it quite a bit in the book, the things that you've done and all that. So that was a pretty cool opening into your guys' life to share all that stuff that you did. Now, another thing you mentioned quite a bit in the book is the Beatles and Paul McCartney. What was it like recording the 5-man London Jam on Abbey Road?
Well, that was pretty cool, man. That was pretty heavy because, we're sitting there doing We Can Work It Out, and I'm playing my Hofner bass in the same studio, almost probably the same spot that Paul McCartney and the Beatles recorded We Can Work It Out in 1965. So that was pretty magical.
Now, do you guys regret releasing the album at the beginning of the pandemic?
We didn't know the pandemic was coming.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing I've noticed is that, sometimes it hurt a lot of artists out there because the album basically got swept under the rug because they didn't have the ability to tour to back everything up or, get the publicity they needed for it.
You remember when we got together?
Right.
And we released Replugged Live, the first thing we did, the live album, after we got back together. That came out on 9/11.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So that's just Tesla luck,
Now, one thing you talk about throughout the book is your anxiety and depression. How has how's the lockdown in this pandemic? How's that affected you?
I'm okay. It can be depressing at times because you don't know when you're going to be able to go back out and play. And, I, like many Americans right now, I'm unemployed because, how we make our living in Tesla is by playing concerts. That's how we earn our living. That's our job as well as being a band. I mean, that's it. We never made millions and millions of dollars like, Lady Gaga or somebody, where sitting around for 2 years really doesn't affect our income. Us, we're a working band. And so, that's depressing, like any guy that's unemployed because of COVID. It's hard not to be depressed. It's hard when, you're used to doing something for 35 years and you can't right now. And, you miss your pals that you enjoy, music's in your blood. So you miss these guys that you play music with. So, but I managed to stay pretty upbeat through it all. I try to keep things to keep me occupied, and certainly having this book out and doing interviews every day really keeps me occupied. So I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking.
See, it's got to be an interesting thing in the back of your head, like when touring starts back up and you guys get back together. Not only the dynamic of the band of you guys being together, but like, do you guys keep the same crew for most of your shows? Like,
Yeah, no, we got guys that work for us for 20 years.
See, that's what in the back of my mind. That's what I'm wondering. Like when the world opens back up, like I've made my digs by meeting everybody. I mean, I know the person at the ticket booth. I know each security guard. I know at all the venues, the manager and who's this or that. When stuff opens back up, I don't know if any of these people are going to be the same guys when I come back around.
Well, I don't know about that, but as far as our crew goes, yeah, they'll be the same guys.
Well, that's cool for sure. Now, what's it like being at home all this time? I mean, you mentioned that you're a touring band, and I know you guys are on the road quite a bit.
Well, what's it? What do you have a job that you do during the week, or
nah, man?
Are you Are you home all the time?
Yeah, I'm home all the time right now. I mean, this
Are
is
you married?
no. I have a son. I'm with him, so
Okay, but you're not like with your chick all the time or anything.
no.
Yeah, so I mean, I was usually gone every other month, right? A month on tour, a month home. Um, but it's great because me and my wife are great. Um, you know, I just spend more time with my dogs and my wife than I get to normally. That part of it's great, but I miss playing. So it ain't like I got buddies I can play with, or I do go to Sacramento every month because I've been producing bands. So I have been, that kind of breaks up the monotony of staying home, but I just moved. I told you I live in Auburn, New York.
Right.
Well, I moved to Auburn in April, right when the pandemic hit. So, and I just got to my house in Texas last week for the winter. So it was good because I had a lot of time to get to know Auburn and the Finger Lakes up there and meet some people and move in the new house and do some work on the house and stuff. So that kind of kept me occupied as well.
Now, what's the relationship with you and the guys in the band right now? I mean, you guys keeping up and seeing where everyone's up to, trying to plan touring when it might open up?
I see Jeff every time I go to Sacramento. I try to get together with him. I speak to Frank. I speak to Troy. I speak to Dave. But we're all kind of just waiting to go back to work, The relationship's the same as it always is. It's just, usually, we're on tour for a month and then we're off. And then when we're off, they don't really call each other too much because we just spent 5 weeks or 4 weeks with each other every single day. And, we got families and kids and grandkids and all this shit. So, I mean, our relationship's the same as always. I mean, we speak, every couple of weeks and, whatever we're doing. We get on the phone with each other or text or, usually text or on the phone. Just say, hey, what's happening? But, we all know what's happening. We all know that we're all fucking waiting to get back to work.
Now, if touring doesn't start this year, do you guys have any plans of doing like an online show or any shit like that?
Maybe. I mean, man, that's hard playing without an audience, man.
Right.
That's like making a video, we used to made all them videos in the 80s and 90s, remember?
Oh yeah.
There's no audience.
No.
That don't come real natural to us. You know what I mean? We're not natural video makers. So we need a crowd to feed off of. We really do. If the crowd, you've seen us play, I'm sure, right?
Oh, tons of times, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know how we are with the crowd and how it's like kind of a interactive thing. So I don't know. I mean, who knows, man, if we'll do one next year or not. I mean, we did a couple little videos at the beginning of the pandemic. Remember, we did Breaking Free and Lazy Days, Crazy Nights. Maybe we'll do a couple more of those little things. Or, maybe we can all get together in my studio and record a little kind of like maybe, I think idea I'd kind of have, which I'd like to do, is maybe do like an interactive thing where we're sitting in the studio set up and people can call in and talk to us and we'll play a song or someone will request something and instead of just like going, okay, here's a 90-minute performance of us jumping around in some fucking warehouse thinking we're making Still the Night video or something. You know what I mean? I'd rather do something more like like with an interactive audience that, you know, you could have them all zoom in, or, you know, I don't know, you know, something like that where, you know, okay, hey guys, you know, this is what we're doing, and, you know, how you guys doing? Talk, you know, just talk back like me and you right now. Except I won't turn on my camera because I'm in bed, dude.
Yeah,
but I'll turn it on for you for a second. What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
So, you know, something like that would be cool. See, I don't really look like I'm ready to go play a rock show, right? Dude, my beard was down here. My wife made me cut it because I'm like, I'm not fucking cutting or dyeing my hair or anything until I go play again.
I'm the same way, man. Beginning of the pandemic, I had short hair. It's getting out there now.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that would be cool. That, you know, that would kind of interest me. You know, kind of like how we did the Abbey Road thing. You know, have you seen the DVD from that?
Yep.
But, you know, kind of that kind of thing where we're just kind of sitting around and you know, people can call in and there's a moderator, and, you know, kind of like a live interactive thing.
So that'd be pretty cool, man. You know, at least give the fan interaction, give you guys something to bounce off a little bit. I mean, I watch some of these live.
Yeah, some interaction instead of us just playing to a camera.
I mean, you know, it's like I said, it's got to be hard just sitting there just doing a pre-recorded show. I mean, I've seen some of those bullshit ones they did at the drive-ins that were supposed to be concerts, and that shit was pre-recorded and put out. It was the most boringest thing I ever went to. It was like watching a.
Was that the Metallica thing?
I seen Metallica. I seen the country.
What was Metallica's thing like?
It was just like watching, like, remember back in the day, like early 90s, they'd start putting out DVDs of shows and stuff that were all pre-recorded and going through there. It was just a pre-recorded bullshit, you know. It was their music, it was cool, it was them, but it was just watching, you know. It was definitely not live. It wasn't like a concert where an accident can happen or something might be different. I mean, this was tuned, it was produced.
Right. Yeah. All right, man.
Well, I appreciate your time. People want to.
Yeah, man. You know, if when I get back to New York this summer, you know, ping me, man. We'll hook up.
Yeah, definitely, man. Now, people want to follow up. They want to get the book.
You know any good vinyl stores up there in Buffalo?
Not anymore, man. The one that was here closed down, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know they got a couple of really nice ones in Rochester.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a couple good spots up there. You know, we used to have the home of the hits up here for a while. That was the best place to get vinyl. They finally shut down their doors. It's going to be hard to see like who lasted during this during the pandemic. A lot of these little shops like that are just closing their doors, unfortunately.
Right. Well, ping me on Facebook or something, man. I'll be there in the spring and summer and fall.
All right, man, definitely. Now,
take care of yourself, man.
For those that are watching, they want to know where to get the book and where to go. Where do they do to
well, you can get. Hey, look, I'll show you my gray hair. You can get the book at Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, Amazon, wherever you buy books. You can get the book, whether it's online or bookstores. It's in all the major places.
Awesome. Now, is there are you one of those dudes that do the signings of the books too? Do you guys can you get
the signed versions of the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a series of those. I don't know how many they have left. What was the name of that place? I think it was Premier Collectibles or something.
Yeah, it was the main place to get those ones. It's where
yeah, I did a thing for them. And obviously when I get back, you know, out there on the road, I'll be selling books and signing them and stuff as well.
Cool. All right, man. I appreciate your time. I love
it. Hey, buddy, you take care, man. You know, you asked a lot of interesting questions that most people don't.
Thanks, man. I you know, I like to.
Yeah, so it was good, man.
I don't want to keep the same cookie cutter shit that everyone else goes through. You know.
No, you did a good job, buddy.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah. All right, how do I get out of here?
I'm going to click the end meeting, man. Take care.
Okay, man. Take care.